guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello.
Prosecutor said Ethan Nordine was the undisputed leader of the group that day as they tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
FBI agents arrested Proud Boys former national chairman Enrique Tarrio at this home in Miami. By 2 this afternoon, he was in federal court.
Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertain us.
Dude, as I was setting up screens right now and picking up the stories that we're going to talk about today, I found the stupidest headline. Welcome, everybody, to the NewsBrief. Today is April 24th. It is 12:01 p.m., running just on time. I'm joined by my amazing hosts, Patty Don't Surf, Patrick Riley, and Kim Coulter. Patty, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, man, but my voice is going to sound like shit today. This is the first day I've been able to speak in about a week. So when it goes, it goes, but we'll see how long it lasts for.
You look a little like, I know you told me that you were like, you went through something, but you look like you're fucking, I don't know, maybe it's because you shaved and you have a man's
Yeah,
voice now?
I definitely,
You lost weight.
I couldn't eat. I definitely did. It was just really shitty. I had bronchitis, got an infection from there, and I'm on antibiotics still, but I think I'm getting over it. But it's not been a lot of fun.
And Kim, you got an interesting night ahead of you. How's it going today?
Yeah, it'll be entertaining for sure.
We'll talk about it a little bit later. There's two stories I think that are circulating this week that I find of high interest. One of them, and you guys that clicked on this, you could see it on the title, is the SPLC. And for those that don't know, and I think if you watch this show, you probably know, the SPLC was indicted by the DOJ, by Todd Blanche. Let's start with this. Nobody's going to jail. Okay. They literally indicted a corporation. I'm hoping somebody goes to jail, given what the SPLC has done. But before I tell you my side of the story, my opinion on this story, let's go to Patty.
So I read, I didn't read the whole indictment, but it's not long. It's only 14 pages. But if you get the basic charge here is that the SPLC defrauded their donors. And the way they defrauded their donors was by not disclosing to their donors that they were using, I think the number was upwards of $3 million to fund confidential informants, CIs, within extremist organizations throughout the country. The reason this is ridiculous and is going to get thrown out is that there is, and I think you guys are going to agree with me when I put it to you this way, there is not a single motherfucker who donated to the SPLC ever who would be in the least bit offended by them funding CIs in order to fuck with these people. None. Zero. To prove they defrauded somebody, they would have to prove that these people didn't want that money going somewhere, and that's where it went. And the fact of the matter is that anybody who would donate money to that group would be more than happy for them to spend it that way. This is a ridiculous, frivolous lawsuit.
So just judging it based on like what you said right now, I could see your point. The problem is when you read the indictment, there's a lot more than just that. That's just like the headline. The group funneled money through shell companies to hide this, right? And not only did they fund these informants, they weren't just informants, they were organizers of a lot of these events, including Charlottesville in 2017. A lot of these people took those donations and they didn't have the informant state of mind. What they wanted to do was get money, which I find kind of fucked up, from the SPLC, and continue to do what they do. And they did. I think that we're going to see a superseding indictment. Maybe there's some individuals. Like you said, it's 14 pages, and that's what should scare the SPLC the most, is that it's a short indictment.
Well, I think it's short because they didn't show the mechanics of how any of this is done. Normal indictments of this, magnitude, a big organization like this by the federal government, it would show exactly how they laundered. It's so vague that it's basically this is basically a temper tantrum by Trump via his DOJ to say the 2020 election still doesn't count. All right, fine, I get it. If they go to court with actual mechanics of how money was laundered and all that, I'm happy to listen to it. But in the indictment, it really just shows that they don't have shit.
I'll go to Kim and then I'll push.
No, go ahead.
But go ahead.
Well, I have a question for you, Patty, and that's what happens when we find out, because I believe it'll be when, not if, more of the people who were, informants were actually not only orchestrators, but actively involved in provoking these incidents in order to manufacture the need for more funding in order to fight the hate in the first place.
Well, look, what you just told me is what you want to be true.
But he just gave you an example of one that is true, because that's in the indictment. So I'm saying when that comes out that it's not just this one case, when it's more people who were intentionally trying to sow division in order to facilitate the need for more money, which we know happened on much bigger scales than this. What then?
Well, that's a hypothetical. If that's proven, then I just
gave you one example. He gave you one example of it being proven. So I'm asking you to entertain that it's happened with more than one individual.
That's not an example. That's something in an indictment that's as yet to be proven, right? None of it's until there's a trial for this, which I predict it will not be.
You can't even answer the question. It's too hard.
I am answering the question, Kim. I'm saying because it's in an indictment doesn't make it true. So I don't need to respond to something that's a hypothetical.
Well, let's talk about indictments for a second. This isn't.
You got your question answered. Let it be.
This isn't
known.
the Trump DOJ. This is a grand jury that brought back this indictment. But I want to go back to human nature. I want to go to human nature. Patty, do you really think,
make sure you don't ask him a hypothetical. He can't do that.
So do you, well, I have to ask a hypothetical here. So just taking like the nature of greed, right? Like they live off of these donations. That's how they operate. And I'm guessing that they have major dollar donations from certain corporations. And we've seen that. Tim Apple, for example, Tim Cook, which recently stepped down from Apple, which I find interesting. But Tim Cook, a big funder of the SPLC, Bungie Studios, the gaming studio, huge, 100 million, I believe, from Bungie Studios alone. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's along these lines. So they have to create something or investigate something in order to make line the pockets of their C-suite executives. So you don't think that this organization needs to survive in an age where fucking hate doesn't exist? Okay. You might get individuals that think certain ways, fine. But is it really such a huge problem in the United States? The answer, I think, is no. I think that these people needed more headlines to say, hey, we're doing something. I'll show you example number one. Let me bring it up. Share.
Well, it's further than that too. It's a way for the government to say we're not paying federal agents because they're not. They're paying the SPLC.
Yeah, exactly. Like what they're doing, and I get the premise that you're saying, Patty. Like, yeah, they pay people to infiltrate and give information, but these people weren't just giving information. And that 14 in that small, and I'll go back to this. The reason why shorter indictments are so much stronger than longer indictments. The story needs to be told in less pages, right? Not to say that there will not be a superseding indictment. There will be a superseding indictment in this case because some of those facts and the way that an indictment works, it's like, hey, these are the base level facts for what we have, and the evidence comes through trial and it comes through discovery, right? Because the SPLC has to prepare to go to trial, which I believe will go all the way to trial, and I believe that they will be found guilty of these crimes, of defrauding these people. Because why would you hide money through shell companies when you could simply just pay these informants, and you don't have to list them as, hey, I paid this person. You could just list them as investigations.
Okay. So assuming that we're assuming a lot. They've been indicted, right? Yes. It doesn't mean anything except that they've been indicted. Okay? They'll have their day in court, although I'm telling you they will not. This is going to get thrown out. But technically right now they're headed to court until this gets dismissed. Now, when they get to court,
but that's a hypothetical, Patty.
No, it's not a hypothetical. I'm telling it's my opinion.
So you have a crystal ball. All right.
No, it's my opinion. I could be wrong. Jesus Christ.
That is a hypothetical.
Just let me finish what I was saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is they could go to trial, or, I could be right and they won't go to trial. But just because it's in an indictment does not make them guilty. Now, look, before we get any farther down this road, I am no fan of the SPLC and never have been. Okay, I've got a whole list of beefs with them. And I'm just not a fan of the organization. So I don't necessarily have, a side in this, except to say that an indictment is not a conviction. And I would think that you would be hypersensitive to that, my friend. But, okay, you want to throw them in jail and throw away the key or bust up the organization. Well, they're not going to go to jail. No, they would be defunct as an organization. And there may be some people who could go to jail if money laundering is proven. But I have a legitimate question because I don't know the answer to this. Say that they did actually pay leaders of extremist organizations to sow, discord on the right. Would that actually be a crime?
Well,
and if so, what law does that violate? I mean, there may be one.
No, that's fraud.
I'm just saying, I'm not aware of one.
It's fraud.
That's
basic
fraud.
That's what's.
If I went up to the leader,
we'll entertain your hypothetical because we know how to do that, and it's fraud.
Go ahead, Patty.
I'm asking you. So, Enrique, say I wanted to find, a leader of. I went to a leader of a hardcore right-wing organization, not like yours, like one that matters, like maybe the Oath Keepers or something like that. So, say I went to like Stuart Rhodes and I said, "Hey, I'll give you $100,000 to say this, this, and this at your next rally," knowing that it would cause all kinds of shit at that rally, that it would fracture the Oath Keepers and all that. Exactly what is the crime there? I pay you to say some shit.
Well,
how is that a violation of any law?
See, this is where your fault is, your presentation. It's because let's say you do it, right? There's nothing illegal about it when you do it. But when you have a 501c3, right, and you're telling your donors, hey, we're fighting hate, and what you're doing is you're getting the money that they give you to sow more hate, because that's exactly what it is. It's sowing more hate. It doesn't matter
if I go into court and say I'm just trying to fight fire with fire. And my,
I
you know
get
what I
it.
mean? Like
But
that's a pretty subjective kind of.
but it's illegal, right? Because you're just taking donations to combat what you're saying that you're supposed to be combating, right? But you're not
Right.
actually doing that. That's fraud.
But if you could if you could make the case in court that no, that's exactly what I was trying to do. I'm playing 5D chess out here. You know
Then
what I
you
mean?
wouldn't
That's the
need
kind
to
of shit.
funnel it through shell companies. Are you actually this
Well,
dumb?
no, I haven't even touched the shell
Would you? Hey,
companies.
Kim,
It's
shut
just
the fuck up. You know what I'm? We started discussion here. We're trying to have a reasonable discussion, and we get Beavis and
Okay.
Butthead shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
if you don't have anything intelligent to
Great
say, keep
prep.
that mouth of yours
yeah,
toned
this
down.
is great prep actually.
Why?
But
What is that?
no, but it's
Never mind. You
it's-
can talk about it later.
No, yeah, we're gonna talk. But it is fraud. It is fraud because, like your mission statement. Because if you have a 501c3, you have to have a mission statement,
Right.
and that mission statement in there is combating hate and extremism. And if you're funding that hate and extremism, and you're encouraging by financial compensation and saying, "Hey, I want you to," and look, I don't know. I think it might be a stretch, and this is the next, I guess, the next evolution in this story, and we'll talk about that now. But if you're funding like an event like Charlottesville, right? The leader of it, one of the leaders in there, allegedly now, because I don't know the dynamics of it. But if you're funding this, and then you're telling your donors, and especially those high dollar donors, I'm 100% sure that they will find one of those donors, right? And you don't need to find a lot of them, because obviously they're left wing, and they've given money to the SPLC, they're invested. So there's going to be a lot of them that are like, oh no, they did nothing wrong. But you don't need to find those donors, right? You need to find the ones, and I'm sure that there's victims that come in here that did testify in the grand jury. Again, that's just my speculation, but that is the very definition of fraud, right? And I don't think that these people that they gave money to, again, this is just me assuming, the money that they gave to these people have that ideology, right? It's not like they recruited them to get into the organization to feed information back or sow discord. These are people that actually believe this shit, and you're funding it. And that person with that money, right, is going to use it, right, to further their cause, which is against the SPLC's cause. What do you think about that?
Right. The only distinction, I think you're right about that. The only distinction I was making is that if in court, the SPLC could make the case that, yeah, we were funding them in a way that we thought would destroy them. Like in the example that I gave of paying Stuart Rhodes to say shit that we knew would destroy them. We didn't go straight at it. We took like an oblique angle at destroying these guys, helping
you
them
said that
destroy
knowing
themselves.
that it would
Now, that's
cause
a subjective thing.
problems. And and that's exactly what you're saying that you're not trying to do. You're trying to do the opposite. That's the definition of fraud. That's defrauding your investors.
No. Listen to me. What I'm saying is they went in with the intention of doing what their donors wanted, which is to destroy extremist groups. They did it in a way that didn't look like that, but the intent was always that. You know what I mean?
Doesn't matter. That's still defrauding your investor.
No, it's not. If you're telling them, look,
I meant it to do better. I really meant it. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
no,
in
that's
court.
the point. If I were to hatch a scheme to destroy the Proud Boys from within, right? But for a year, or what is it now, like 7 years?
10.
It seems like I'm your friend, and that I've got your interests at heart. But the entire time I was just setting you up. That's the case you could make in court. You could say, hey, yeah, we did pay a lot of these extremist group leaders to do this, but we did it in order to get them to fuck themselves. So the end goal is exactly what giving them that money for was for in the first place. I'm saying it's a case that you could make. I don't know if it would fly in court, but I'm saying it gets a little muddy there. It's not a black and white fraud case.
I think, well, I think, and now when we get into the shell companies, I think that's where you're going to see the real meat and potatoes of this case. I think using money to hide some of these funds. And look, I don't know. And here again,
It's
I'm
definitely
speculating.
illegal if they launder. Yeah.
Yeah. And they probably use it to pay not only them or themselves. That's not alleged in the indictment just yet. I'm pretty excited to see who these people are, who are these people being paid by the SPLC, which brings me on to the next topic of something that I've been seeing. This is being weaponized in a way that I'm not happy with, right? It's being weaponized now against people that have nothing to do with the SPLC and are not included in the indictment. If you look at the indictment, it's more hardcore groups that are being funded. But now they're using it against, and it's the right that's doing this. They're using it against Nick Fuentes and a couple of other people, and they're saying that Nick Fuentes is paid by the SPLC. I've seen that topic in the affirmative. I've seen that that accusation in the affirmative. Like, hey, Nick Fuentes is being paid by the SPLC, and look, I get what people are trying to do. But if you want to go at if you're a civic nationalist like some of these people are, and you go after Nick Fuentes by your own belief, don't you have enough ammo to go after him for something truthful instead of going after him for something that's obviously concocted? That is obviously concocted. I don't think that Nick Fuentes is taking money from the SPLC. And then
I don't even believe that.
On the other topic of
I think it's funny to
organizers,
say it.
yeah. On the other topic of organizers of this event, it wasn't just one organizer. Did this person move the needle?
And Fuentes was 18 years old at the time. Let's keep that in mind as well.
And he wasn't a huge name at that point. He was just some
Only
guy on the
among
internet.
the people in the really niche right wing.
Yeah. And so to say that people like Nick Fuentes or I don't like her. I always have to pretense it with that. Like Candace Owens are like, oh, Candace Owens is being paid by the SB. I'm like, come on, dude. Listen,
There's so much to go off of there.
Yeah, you got a treasure chest of truthful, honest, hard facts on shit that you could go after Candace Owens for. If you do this, it kind of counters what you're trying to do. By saying, oh, she's paid by the SPLC. It's kind of like the Joe Kent thing. Oh, there's this investigation into Joe Kent for leaking documents. The investigation has led nowhere. You want to go after Joe Kent for going after the president? Sure, you could do that. And I'd probably be like, well, yeah, he should have done it a different way. We'd have an honest conversation, but to start with the misinformation that these people were being paid, and in one case, and I started getting tagged. It was an evening of. I started getting tagged in a post, and somebody, I'm not going to say who right now because I'll tell you how they took down the post. But they said, "Oh, well, I told you. Look, the Proud Boys are funded by SPLC," and I was like, "Wait, hold up. There is no group on that SPLC website that has more visibility, and we were the biggest target for the SPLC. There's no group like the Proud Boys when it came to the SPLC. So to say kind of those things, and I want to see your reaction to that, Kim.
Well, I mean, of course they were going to try to go after the Proud Boys when this came out, and try to throw around misinformation because that's all they really have when stuff like this comes out. You can sort of see through the tweets specifically when the marching orders were given out, because all of the similarly worded tweets are going out about since when is it illegal to have CIs embedded in organizations, and it's just obvious disingenuous bullshit and smear tactics.
I just think it's really funny that you've got people on the right accusing other right wingers of being paid after all these years of hearing that every protest is funded by George Soros, every lefty is paid to be there. And now you've gotten so used to doing it that you're doing it to each other now. I think it's just,
I'm over
it's
the
hilarious.
right left thing. I don't it's bullshit.
I kind of agree with that. It's kind of like I said it because in most cases it's true with the Soros funding. Well, Soros did fund the SPLC, funny as it may be. but I just see now it's like, wait, stop. We were saying it because it was happening in certain cases. But now you're using it because you want to use, and it's the nature of arguing on the internet,
Yeah.
right? If you don't like somebody and you don't like somebody's views, you'll throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at it, right? I get the tactic, but it doesn't work. It makes it worse. Like the people that are against Tucker Carlson, which I love, the people that are against like Tucker Carlson, are like throwing all these wild accusations on him, and they're like, "Oh, this is the end of Tucker Carlson." It's not. He hasn't lost a single fucking supporter.
And
You
his
get me?
podcast is number 1 in news.
Yeah. I don't like go to Spotify right now and check it out.
It was like yesterday.
So, I think that we sorry. Fuck. I think we need to do better. Because if I feel like it's crazy. I feel like I'm like centered in my views, and I'm like, okay, I don't like Candace Owens. I could shit on her for shitting on Erica Kirk. I could do all of that without having to go, well, she's funded by the SPLC, and now she's taking. What a coincidence that she's taking a vacation. She has a fucking billionaire fucking husband.
Yeah, man, that's the nature of the fucked up times we live in now. That nobody can just. I mean, I'm capable of doing this. I think you are, and I know plenty of people who are. But the vast majority of the scumbag internet can't just say Candace Owens is a fucking sellout, or Candace Owens is crazy for thinking this nonsense about the French First Lady and all this other bullshit. They have to talk about her being, funded by this or that or the other thing. They can't just say, this guy, Alex Jones takes things too far. They're going to say, Trump's going to say he's a loser. Everybody has to just up the ante instead of just using the criticism that's right in front of you that's totally legitimate. I mean, Owens decided to insult Trump. She says that he's demon possessed. Really? I hate that man. Demon possessed? Get the fuck out of here with that. It's just childish, It gets to, nobody feels like they can just stick with legitimate earthly criticism, right? Everything's got to be demonic and spiritual and all this other silly shit. And it's sad. And it makes conversations that are based on issues virtually impossible.
I think that here's another thing that I never do. I have a viewpoint, right? That viewpoint doesn't really change much. It doesn't matter to me if I don't like a right winger. I won't use, like, you'll never see me catch me like tweeting a leftist to just own the guy, right? Oh, it's so bad that Cenk Uygur fucking is calling it out. No, I don't fucking retweet Cenk unless it's to make fun of him. I just don't do it. I don't care if I agree with him on a topic. I'm not doing it. One thing I'm not going to do with Candace is fucking root for the French. I'm just not going to fucking sit here and root for fucking Macron. I think I said it properly. To sue an American. I don't even think that should be fucking legal. Like, if you're a fucking
I'm not
foreigner-
certain that it is.
Yeah, I don't think a foreigner should be able to sue an American citizen.
No, and I don't think they think that's going anywhere either. I think that she felt like she needed to fucking stand up and tell this bitch to shut her mouth. And I got no problem with that. But and Candace lives in fucking England anyway. Like, so what does it matter?
She lives in Tennessee for the most part, but yes, she does live.
Well, I mean, so
England.
like, she could just fucking, screw. And I don't understand this has got to be just massive ego on her part, because she married into a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Right. She doesn't necessarily need this anymore. And I really question people.
You think there's
who
love
continue
there?
to podcast?
You think she's like,
What's
oh
that?
my God, I'm so in love with this billionaire?
No,
He's my soulmate.
Yeah, right. She was she grew up in Connecticut. England is probably nothing different for her. But the point is, you would think that I don't trust anybody who continues to podcast after making that amount of money. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Go
Like,
find
you know-
something else to do.
Yeah, like
why would this be the thing you want to do? The same shit you were doing before you got rich is the shit you. Well, why get rich? Why marry a fucking trophy husband who's going to take care of you for the rest of your life if you fucking you're going to spend it doing the same shit you were doing before? It doesn't make sense.
here, and I guess this remotely hits what Kim's going to talk about. I think in a remote fashion. I don't think it directly impacts it. But what the fuck is this billionaire guy thinking? Right? Like if you're a billionaire, like if I was a billionaire and I was single, right? Like I'm looking for prime fucking meat. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how old this guy is. I haven't really done any digging in this guy. Like I'd get like a fucking 24, 25-year-old with some tits and an ass. And like, I don't care what she does at that point. Like you're a billionaire and like, you're like, you know who my dime piece is? Fucking Candace Owens.
Well, I guess it has to be true love then.
Yeah. She probably eats ass. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but for fucking, if you're a
No,
billionaire,
that's
and you
not the
decide to
first time
go-
you made a comment like that.
I
It
always
really-
say that. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Like in that case, like she's got to be satisfyingly. But you're literally married to a fucking DMV worker, right? And nothing against the DMV people that I met today. That they were actually awesome. But you're literally.
It's the first time anyone has ever said that, by the way.
Dude, I have to say it. I do have to say it. So Kim, what do you think about that? What do you think about I guess everything in general, but what I said right now?
You mean about like Candace Owens being a fraud?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with Nick Fuentes. It's a cheap shot that people who already don't like them are gonna believe, regardless of evidence, and that's what's being banked on, is that they could just circulate this bullshit, and then sooner, like just give it a little bit of time, and it'll be, accepted as fact. And nobody's gonna people already don't question it, but like the more it's circulated, the more people are gonna say, "Well, I overheard somebody say a thing about Candace." Who cares? Like there is so much more there that actually matters. There's so much more there you can actually point at, and to do this is just absurdity.
I think he's gay. They're saying that he's gay, but just like given the facts here.
Fuentes?
No. Well, I don't know.
Talking about Candace's husband?
Candace's husband.
Well,
and
I mean,
he-
even Milo used to talk about how he was a homosexual in disguise, and that Candace was his beard.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I don't know any. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Candace Owens or her husband or her family or where she goes on vacation, or I really don't care.
It's very TMZ-ish.
Yeah. No, it's that's exactly what it is. It's right-wing TMZ.
Yeah. But go ahead, Benny.
No, I mean, this is the culture of right-wing micro-celebrity that started. It didn't take off immediately in 2016, but the seeds were planted, and you had guys who nobody knew anything about before, like, Cernovich and Posobiec and all these guys that nobody had ever, and Nick Fuentes after that, all these people, Cat Turd, and these people who become these fucking celebrities. I'll tell you, one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life was at the Reawaken America tour in Tennessee in was it 2023. I went down there and spent the weekend watching all these speeches and stuff. And you're familiar with Dr. Judy Mikovits? The one who, okay, I think everyone who's watching this probably knows who she is. There were people, I was in the media tent, right, where they let us, set up our podcast. It was me and Pickles. And this woman walks, up to me, and not up to me, but she cuts in front of me while I was trying to interview somebody. And I recognized her. I'd never seen her in person before, but I've seen her in films. And I was like, oh, that's that fucking freak. and just kept conducting my interview. And she gets like mobbed by a whole bunch of people like wanting to take pictures with her and shit. And I'm like, this is a haggard old lady who has clearly lost her shit a long time ago, right? And she's a fucking micro celebrity. How does this happen? And you see the same thing with Ivan Reichlin doing a WWE walk up fucking to the
Ivan's
same
a
event.
man. Ivan's a man.
What's that?
Ivan's a man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
he
you
is.
think that. You just like having someone on your own level. But the thing is, like, fucking
That was
these
a height
people
joke,
become
ladies and gentlemen.
celebrities. Yes.
Hey, chill. I'm
But-
5'9".
Okay. Okay. But the thing is, these people become micro celebrities. They get attention in a way that they never would get in any other, media ecosystem. And I guess maybe that's why Candace is continuing to do this, because it's a celebrity thing. It's an ego thing, and it's a group of people who will basically, deify anybody who says some crazy shit that they want to hear.
The right, you made me not realize something. I've realized it, but I haven't really thought about it. In this new age, I guess, the new age of conservatism and voices and loud voices, there is a fucking ridiculous amount of like crazy cat lady kind of women that people have propped up, right? And then on the male side, it's just like the boomers, right? Like the older fucking, like if you look at like the biggest male, and look, nothing against Gunther and Hunter, it's older men that have a different way to thinking. This includes Cat Turd, which I'm not a fan of. I do like Hunter and Gunther, but it's like older men. And like the voices, if you see like the younger male voices, I think that they're more centered in what actual America thinks than most of these people. You have people like the Insurrection Barbie account. You got Candace Owens. You got Laura Loomer. And I think Reno put it on there. He says, I am hoping for Candace and Loomer's mutually assured destruction. I think that that's coming. I will find it funny, though, because Loomer this week got her case against Bill Maher thrown out. And I think they're circulating the actual deposition that Loomer put up. And I didn't read it, but I saw somebody was like talking about it. And some of the shit that she said on there was fucking crazy. And like we've elevated these fucking retards, right? So high that like it's hard to get out of. And like the voices of reason are like the younger males, which are the future of the party.
Well, I mean, you could put Loomer in that category as well.
Well, no, I am putting Loomer in that category.
No, I meant with younger males. But the thing is, because I'm positive that that's the case. I'm willing to take a lawsuit, a la Macron, when it comes to that. But I have insisted for years that she is the reincarnation of Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You think she's a man?
No, I don't really think she's a man. I just think she's a horrible human.
But no, you've
it's
seen
funny
those
to
fucking
call her that.
videos. You've seen those videos and those pictures, and
No, because
I'm like,
when I met her, the first time I met her,
did you grab her by the pussy?
no,
No.
she
did.
looked like she actually did look like a young woman. I don't know what the fuck that is now. But don't fuck around with surgery, ladies. Don't fuck around with that stuff.
So wait, so let me
Yeah.
ask you a question, Patty. So if you weren't married, and she was a billionaire, and you need a sugar mama, because I would
billionaire?
think that she would go for the patty. She
I
would
definitely
go.
don't
She
think
would
she
go
would.
for the double patty.
I don't know. I mean, we've all seen that famous video of her with the what was it, big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ.
Yeah.
Is that what she said to that kid outside the bar?
No comment.
Whatever.
Um,
Hey,
Or
that's
when
just
she
funny. I
slapped
wouldn't.
when she slapped the fucking prime minister of fucking France, her husband's in the plane. That was some shit right there, bro. That was like, dude. I'd love. I'm gonna watch. I'm actually gonna post that today again. But yeah. So, any final words on this before we shift over, Kim?
No, I do gotta go soon though.
Okay. All right. So let's shift over to another story that I saw. I think it was yesterday. That I saw, and immediately I made up my mind. And I saw some right wingers like celebrate this, and I can't believe that the FBI is celebrating it, the DOJ is celebrating it. So this guy, and it came out today. This guy wasn't just like in some support role; he was on the ground. He was in the helicopter when they took the picture of Maduro. He was on top of the aircraft carrier when they had him on deck.
He's a comms expert. He works in comms.
Yeah, and
I mean, like, this is as bad as you can get.
yeah. So this guy, this guy was part of this operation, and what he did, and what he's indicted for, and I think they gave how like the timeline worked. I think he got briefed in the beginning of November or December. I might be wrong there. And then towards the end of November or December, a couple of weeks later, he creates 13 different accounts and places polymarket bets on if Maduro was going to be removed from office. And then lo and behold, in the beginning of January, we see the capture of Maduro, which was, I don't care who you are, extremely impressive operation. An extremely impressive operation. Because there's a lot of moving parts there, and they all went right. And they captured him. So the feds have indicted him for basically this bet, and it's considered, I forgot what the charges are, but basically for betting on this. It's kind of like an insider kind of trading kind of thing. So before I give my thoughts on it, go ahead, Patty.
All right.
And Ash is in here saying 215 views. On the counter up there, I am currently clocking in at 1,200 views. So remember, we stream on multiple channels. So Ash, you are completely wrong. Go ahead, Patty.
Yeah. So this guy, he worked in comms. He was an E8 in the Army. He was a master sergeant. Which is another reason why this is a terrible example to set for, junior soldiers and anybody working underneath him. He worked at JSOC, the Joint Special Operations Command, out of Fort Bragg, which is a huge command, right? And it encompasses all services. So this dumb fuck is setting the worst example you could possibly, set as a senior non-commissioned officer in the United States military. And you can talk about what the government may charge him with, but I can tell you what the Army will definitely do with him is discharge his ass for this, because there's a whole lot of shit that could have gone wrong. You were right about how impressive the operation was, but this thing could have derailed the whole thing.
How
right?
so? How so?
Okay, so first of all, by making these polymarket bets on something that I guarantee not many people bet on.
Oh, there
right?
was there was a lot of bets on it.
Okay, well, making $34,000 worth of bets on it could skew the odds a little bit, right? There are people who play this game in Vegas all the time, bet a bunch of money, mess with some odds, have somebody else place another bet, hedge the bets and all this. You can fuck with these things, and if somebody decides, someone's a little paranoid or maybe just a little smart in Venezuela, says there's action on this right now that we don't like, and they move him. And then some soldiers drop in there and get shot. Mm-hmm. That's what can go wrong, right? On top of that, he's disseminating information by doing this. Not directly, but indirectly disseminating information that he has no right to disseminate, right? It's incredibly dangerous. It violates his oath of service. It is selfish. And it's absolutely, there are going to be charges, and I'm sure he's going to get convicted, but he needs to be discharged from the fucking Army, because this is not what a senior non-commissioned officer ought to be doing with his time. You know, you're property of the United States Army at that point. You want to get out and place bets, then get out and place bets. You're an E8 with almost 20 years. You can go anytime you want.
So here's my take on it. And I immediately when I saw the story and I just dug into a couple of news stories, immediately I already knew what my position was going to be. I think this guy did something wrong. I don't think I don't think that 13 bets, when you look at Polymarket, people fucking betting hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know somebody personally that fucking just drops $100K on like a fucking like something stupid that I know that's going to lose, and he's lost considerable amounts of money. So I don't think that moves the needle for me. I think that in the interest of justice, and there's a whole bunch of people saying this now. And yesterday I saw, well, this might be an unpopular opinion. I think it's a very popular opinion that this guy might deserve some type of punishment, maybe a discharge. I think yes, I'd probably agree with a discharge, but to say that that he should be charged with and these are very serious charges, and he could get up to 60 years. And I think that there might be mandatory minimums on some of that. So he might get some of that time. Granted that he gets indicted, not indicted, convicted of this. And I'll tell you why I don't think he's going to be convicted of it. This is, and the reason why I say interest of justice is like people in Congress have been doing insider trading on stocks for a very long time. And, you know, one can say that there you could see the pattern. Although, you know, obviously stocks are traded a lot more than per se somebody on Polymarket. So if we're not going to go after the greatest traders of all time, like Nancy Pelosi and all the rest of them that have better records than Warren Buffett, then I think until we don't charge these individuals, then I don't think that this guy should be charged. I think that this guy should be, and the reason why I say that I don't think I will see a conviction out of it, I think that the president should commute his sentence before these proceedings even start. I don't think that's going to be a good look on the right wing to indict like the guy. And here's another thing that I'm going to say about this. This guy wasn't betting on something he knew the outcome of. He was betting his life on this, right? He might not come back, right? There's a chance, and I think because of how this operation, the intensity and the risk here, there was a good chance that he wasn't going to come back. They could have shot down the helicopter, and this guy decided to risk it and say, you know what? I'm going to put it all on the line, right? I don't know how much of his money he put in there. I don't know what the pay rates are for it. But this guy bet on something he didn't know the outcome of. Did he know that it was like they were going to try? Yeah, he had a leg up on it. But he didn't know what was going to happen. So I think that this guy should be pardoned or his sentence commuted. Because I just don't think that this is going to be a good look at all. I don't think this is going to be a good look for the administration. I wouldn't have even like put a press release. I wouldn't have done what Kash Patel did or Todd Blanche. Look, again, I think Todd Blanche has done an amazing job in these past 2.5 weeks since Pam Bondi. But I wouldn't have even I would have let the media go with it. I wouldn't have done a press release on this. Like you're getting a war fighter. The reason why you have Maduro there is because of people like this and because of him, right? And you're going to put him in the same prison as Maduro for almost the same amount of time. Yeah, I don't like this. And he did something wrong, and maybe he should get charged criminally, but not for the charges that he got. You want to fucking give him 6 months in prison or a year in prison? By all means, fine. That goes by pretty quick.
Because that's not. Or let me tell you why you fucked up on this all the way around, right? 6 months is not going to deter anyone from taking the risk of doing this. That's slap on the wrist shit. That's not a deterrent. All right. The fact that Congress gets away with insider trading is a function of the fact that the only people who can stop that from happening is
Sending it
Congress.
to you now, Kim.
And they're never going to do that. Right. So
Yeah, but if they're never going to
unless
do
there's,
that, then why
unless there's
why
such
the
public
unequal
anger.
application?
No, I think this could be a moment where, you get some people in Congress, and there are some, who can use this as an example of saying, hey, if this guy's got to go to jail, then this has got to be illegal for Congress. But the idea that you set a precedent saying, well, if these people don't get prosecuted for a crime, everybody else below them gets to commit it. That's fucking crazy. That's a ridiculous
Well,
precedent.
nobody's saying
You
nobody's
can't run a
saying-
government like that.
Look,
You
I
can't
get
run
it.
a country that way.
I get it. I get it. And look, I'm in total agreement. If you want to give him some time, you want to get him out, that's fine. But this 60-year thing with
All right. Well,
with the
yeah, I think
mandatory
60
minimums,
years is too much. But
and I think the
see, I don't
president
agree
is
with
gonna take
mandatory
action
minimums.
on this.
This is yet another reason why mandatory minimums should not exist, which is something that the left has always believed, the right wing has always been for, and now we see maybe a little bit of wiggle room here on that.
Yeah, because we're independent thinkers.
Yeah, you are. The problem with this also is the fact that this guy working at JSOC and being so involved in special operations and whatnot, this pollutes commands, right? And this kind of if you think, hey, he did that, what else might he have done? What else is anybody else doing? And it creates a toxic fucking command environment, and you can't have it. And again, I can't stress how much if I heard this was some fucking specialist or like an E4, E5, I'd say, all right, you got a bad apple and whatever. This is a fucking master sergeant. This is an E8. There's only one rank above that in the enlisted.
I'm not arguing.
Like, it
that.
scares the shit out of me that somebody that high in the command structure would be fucking around like this.
Look,
And
I'm
I
not
think they have
arguing
to set
that.
an example.
And I won't argue that. What I'm arguing is the charges are too much. The press release of from the DOJ and the FBI were too much. I think that if you were going to charge him, you should have just charged him and let the media find it on the docket, let them report on it. I don't think that this should be celebrated, and I think it's going to whoever the prosecutors and the investigators are. I think this is going to this is going to backfire. It is backfiring. As a matter of fact, we have one congresswoman with a pretty loud voice saying that this guy should be pardoned or commuted. Luna. I actually want to show you the president's the statements on this. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen a statement.
Okay, so the president did say it. And this kind of makes you see into the future.
Oh, he
And
said something. It is what it is, right? Yeah,
No. He said,
I did see that.
no, he said this. Let me know if you could hear it.
It's a mess, yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
President, apparently there was a special forces soldier who was involved in the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro, who was arrested by federal authorities today on suspicion of insider trading and betting on Polymarket. Are you concerned that federal employees are betting on these prediction markets and potentially getting rich?
Well, I don't know about it, but was he betting that they would get him or they wouldn't get him?
It sounds like he was betting on his removal from office, that Maduro would be removed.
Well, that's
it sounds like
interesting.
he was involved in the operation.
That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team. It's a little like Pete Rose. Pete Rose, they kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no good, but he bet on his own team. I'll look into it, yeah.
Also,
It's a mess, yeah.
Mr. President,
Okay, that's funny because I was going to bring Pete Rose up as soon as we got done with this. So the reason that is a bad analogy, right? Because on the surface, it sounds like it would be right? But Pete was a serial liar who for 30 years after he was, banned from baseball, continued to lie and lie and lie. I never bet on baseball. I never bet on baseball. Until finally in a fucking interview, he says, yes, I bet on baseball. Now we're supposed to believe he never bet against his own team. Now, Pete's personality would lead you to believe that he probably couldn't do a thing like that. but he's a pathological fucking serial liar. So how the hell do you know what is true? So I'm not sure that you can. This is not an apples to apples thing. And I understand one thing is a sport and one thing is real life, and so they're different. But
Oh,
there
politics
is
is a sport.
well, no, it's not. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about the real life mission that went on where people could have died. So the idea that this is analogous to Pete Rose, I think, is a little ridiculous. And again, you have to understand. I've read some books and seen interviews with people who have interviewed a lot of JSOC guys. I didn't work with those guys when I was in the military, but they all think they're going to win every time. These are the most and they have to do that. They have to have that kind of disposition. We pay them for that, right? They don't think they can ever lose. They go in there thinking we're going to win, we're going to be successful every single time, and that's what they're supposed to do. So the idea that he bet on himself, that's not that wouldn't be out of character for anybody who works in special forces.
I can't get in. It shows everyone is offline on my end. Try to log in from your MacBook. I don't know if
Hey, can you believe that Reno and Tulin have both agreed with me on this?
Well, no, look, I'm not disagreeing with you, and I'm not disagreeing with Reno because look, if he's looking at it from a military standpoint, which is what you are as a veteran, right? I'm not disagreeing with what he said, right? He says the military doesn't operate like the civilian world, right? And this guy is a danger to operations, operational security. Look, I agree with these statements, but these federal charges don't quite do it. I think that they were excessive, and I think giving somebody that no matter what, if it was operational security or whatever, giving somebody that put Maduro in prison. Somebody that put not the guy sitting in a desk somewhere, which that guy should get praised too. This guy was on the ground, risked his life, and you're gonna fucking put him in jail. I don't think Trump's gonna do that. And one of the things that I wanted you to look at with that statement from Trump is demeanor. He's in a very joking demeanor. The reporter asked a very direct question and gave the facts in there and said, "Look, he was betting on getting Maduro." Right. And Trump was like, well, was he betting for or against? I don't think this guy sees the inside of a jail cell beyond his first arrest. I don't know if he did see jail time in his first arrest. I think yes. I think the answer to that is yes. But putting this guy in fucking prison is just not going to work when you have fucking members of Congress fucking inside.
Well, I don't think there's any chance that he actually goes to jail.
Yeah.
As long as this is adjudicated while Trump is president. But even then, he can just preemptively do it. But and he probably will. And the reason he can is because he obviously knows that there is nothing that he can
try
do
your phone.
That's going to fuck up his his support with his base and all that. So he's got no reason not to, except not to set a bad precedent. But we all know he doesn't give a fuck about anything like that. So
I think
I fully expect that the Army has to make a real this guy. It's incredibly rare. I've never heard of it happening to anybody personally, but this guy, I think he had like 17 or 18 years in. Mm-hmm. Getting it dishonorable at that point is extraordinary, and I think he deserves it.
I think, I mean, look, I think, again, I think he did something wrong. So I think given that, I think he deserves to get what he gets, but this is not what he deserves. I think the president sees that. I think based on those comments that we just saw from him, that is the case, and it's going to be the case. I think we see something rather speedy from the president when it comes to this. Here, and I'm looking for this flash page. Actually, but again, I just in summary, I think we agree on the basis of, hey, you shouldn't fucking be doing this, but I think that we shouldn't punish our 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 people this way. I want to go right back to the Southern Poverty Law Center really quick because in the beginning of the show, right when we started, this share this tab. This headline is fucking wild. Because I searched, because I was looking for the SPLC website and I just put SPLC in Google and I saw this on the news. But check this shit out. The Justice Department sides with the Ku Klux Klan. That is a fucking interesting take from, I don't know what the New Republic is. Let's start with this, please. Let's call facts facts. The Ku Klux Klan is not an organization that is scary. It is not out there fucking lynching dudes. There's not a massive presence. They sit in the middle of nowhere, doing their fucking, I don't know what they do in their meets or whatever. So let's just start with, we need to stop using the KKK thing. I made a joke about it on Twitter because the NAACP came out to defend the SPLC, which to me fucking supports fucking giving money to these actual fucking groups that they so much want to fight. I think the NAACP is another fucking race racket, along with the SPLC. Gavin, with his lawsuit, made the founder of the SPLC step down. It was one of the reasons why he stepped down from the organization. People that have left from the organization confirm what the Justice Department has alleged in their indictment. But like I said, and I want to prove it to you here, there's no other group. Let me know if this switches over, Patty. There's no other group more prominent on the SPLC website than the Proud Boys. As a matter of fact, they have us on their splash page, right? And I find it funny because in the back, I know what picture this is. In the background, right on the top left, a little bit to the right of the SPLC, there's a little face right there. I know what picture this is. That is a Proud Boy of color, right? And then what the guy that's in the front here is wearing "Don't worry, girl, I got you," and it's a picture of the Statue of Liberty. The flag that he's carrying behind him has our tenets on it, and it says no racism, no racial guilt, which are two things that can coexist with each other. Some people don't think it could coexist with each other, but yes, they live together in harmony, right here in the Proud Boys. And if you were to search Proud Boys on here, no other individual or group has more articles than we do. So thank you for that, Mr. Jared Holt, which now works for the another fucking shitty publication. Let me remove this off the screen. Patty, well, here, one thing I was trying to get Kim back so she could promote herself, and her event that, Reno says he should be, let me put this up. Fucking Reno. What an extremist. He should be breaking rocks at Leavenworth. No, he shouldn't be breaking rocks at Leavenworth. And you know what? He's not going to break rocks in Leavenworth. He is going to go free, and he is going to learn the lesson that don't bet on operations. But I don't think he'll be able to bet on operations anymore, because I don't think he'll be part of any operations moving forward. I have never seen that happen before. Are we still live? That is the first time I see something. Kim broke the studio. That might be correct. we'll wait for Patty to come back on. For the most part, okay, wait, no, this is what I wanted to talk about. Kim, tonight, correct me if I'm wrong here, Kim, at 9 p.m. Let me go ahead and put this up on the screen. I have to redo all my tabs. And let's put this up full screen. Today on the Whatever podcast, which is being covered somewhere else, but I'm not going to promote the Whatever podcast. Right here at the Warboy Studios, we're going to be giving you coverage of an epic debate between Andrew Wilson and Kim Coulter. I'm hoping Kim can, at least Patty can come on so we could talk about this. I think that this is, let me take that layer off really quick, this block layer. Oh, it doesn't matter. We could keep that back on. This is a long time coming. Kim is going to be debating with Andrew Wilson at 9 p.m. We are going to be covering it live with pre and post coverage of the event. I think in this case, Andrew is known for his debates. Kim is known for her smarts. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. And as always, actually, Kim's calling me right now. Kim, I'm going to put you on speaker.
Yeah, do that because I have a correction already.
Okay, go ahead.
So the Whatever podcast bailed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so last night we're talking about settling who's gonna go first in opening statements, yada yada yada. I get a direct message from Brian, who runs the Whatever podcast, and he's like, I just want to make sure you know to follow terms of service. And I was like, okay, like, can you specify what that means? Because people curse on your podcast all the time. And he's like, don't say blatantly racist things. Don't say nigger. Don't say faggot. The usual.
This is proof that we could say that here.
Yeah, well, exactly, because we're free speech people. And he was like, we don't want to get, he didn't even say we don't want to get flagged, but he was like, just those things. And I just said, fine, understood. Well, a couple hours later, suddenly Bri can't figure out with his fancy technology, his fancy Wi-Fi. I can't work StreamYard. I don't know how StreamYard works. Somebody else is going to have to host the debate. It's like, fuck you, you pussy. You know you're doing it because you're scared. And the Andrew Wilson is trying in the DMs trying to be like, oh yes, Kim, it's a big conspiracy because Brian doesn't want to get the super chats. Brian's worried he's going to get his channel struck. He doesn't give a shit about the super chats. He doesn't like missing out on the super chats. He's a bitch. He's being a bitch.
So is this thing happening?
No, it's happening. So Jake Rattlesnake was initially going to moderate. And then, like I said, what makes this whole thing even more absurd, Enrique, is that I guess organically, well, if we believe the world where Andrew Wilson didn't hit up Whatever podcast to have them host, we'll pretend that didn't happen and they just saw it organically, which we all know is horseshit. But Whatever podcast hit me up 9 days ago and said, we'll host the debate if you want. And I said, okay, whatever. I talked to Andrew. I was like, I don't know if you hit him up or whatever, but let's.
Telling me in the last 9 days, you waited until midnight the day before to try to figure out StreamYard.
Do you guys,
and you're telling me a platform?
Kim, hold on.
Yes.
Can you guys in the comments, can you hear Kim now? I switched over to Bluetooth.
Oh no! How much did they not hear?
No, they heard it because I had it. I just switched it to Bluetooth right now. I just want to make sure that they hear it, and it seems like you're coming. Actually, go ahead and talk.
Hello, testing.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Somebody says this bee is annoying. We hear that bee. I guess it's somebody that.
Yeah, I'm a woman. I get it. When women are complaining, it's annoying sounding.
Somebody says, yeah. Unfortunately, we can hear her. So we're obviously we're going to cover it here no matter what.
Yeah.
And so where
it's just absurd it's absurd to me that he's like, oh, I can't figure out the chat. Enrique, how hard is it to work the chat on StreamYard?
Actually, very easy because it tells you where your super chats are, and you could just put them right here down here on the stream.
So Brian, who has a whole team and a whole bunch of money and a whole he has all the tech he needs. He has everything he needs. He tell me why like 18-year-olds with no budget can figure out StreamYard, but Brian can't.
It's really easy to run StreamYard. I don't know why. Like even if you don't know anything about it, you log in 5 minutes, and you can see the people that you are bringing in are down there, and you click on each one. They come up on the screen. If you want to put like a backsplash on it, you add the backsplash. Use the same exact cameras and the audio equipment that you have. Like right now, I didn't remember that I have Bluetooth on my Rodecaster, and I just turned it on. I have you on my ear.
Yep.
And I don't have to hold you up to, and it sounds kind of cool. It sounds like one of those phone calls that Trump's calling me, you know?
Right.
Is it the call-in show?
I'm nowhere near as important, but yeah.
You're more important right now.
Well, I appreciate that, Enrique. But yeah, no, it's entirely absurd that, and again, they could say, oh, well, what they can make whatever excuse they want. They can try to say I'm a conspiracy theorist. It's whatever. I don't care. I never cared about where it was hosted. But the fact is, like, you either want me to believe that you waited until last second and like you just can't figure it out when you had 9 days to do so, or let's go with Occam's retard here and assume that you're like you saw the last couple things I've been posting and I post spicy stuff and you were like, oh shit, this chick's gonna get me a restriction.
Yeah. So how about like, I mean, I don't know. If he wants, I could run StreamYard. I know you have a solution, but I could run StreamYard for them.
Jack, I shared it on my page on X. Jake Rattlesnake is going to be hosting and moderating the debate. It's going on as scheduled. 8:45 is, I believe, when we're going to start. And then so it all's well that ends well. But like, the fact that they think that I'm that gullible and that people are that gullible and they can hide behind like, oh, look at her and her conspiracies. He I swear to God, I have the screenshot of it. He even did the thing where he was like Jewish hand rubbing. Like, I was like, wow, like you don't understand what you're doing at all.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to see, what's the debate about? Can you tell the audience?
So the debate prompt is Rachel Wilson a genuine person trying, or not a genuine person, but is her effort truly to genuinely move the cultural needle, or is she pandering to an audience that already agrees with her? And again, like, that's fine. There's a lot, like sports center people pander to people who like sports. That's fine. But don't sit here and try to tell me that you're authentically like trying to be a voice of cultural change and like all this other stuff. Again, I'm not going to hand out too much of I'm not going to show too much of my hand right now, but like that's generally the topic, is like whether or not her intention of moving the needle is authentic, or whether she's just found her little camp and she's happy where she's at and doesn't need to move the needle at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck to you. I think you're going to do great, and we're going to cover it, and just join us after the debate to give your own comments on here.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to get Paul Miller to join for a bit too with you guys.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great.
That would be awesome.
Anything else you want to plug?
No, that's it. Just follow me on Culture. Otherwise, I'm pretty inactive right now. I'm just dealing with the end stages of pregnancy.
Soon, baby, soon.
Soon, baby, soon.
So, and then for me to close out, I really need your guys' support. Go to tariobook.com. I'm going to put it on the screen. tariobook.com. It's right. I think I'm pointing in the right direction. tariobook.com. Down here, support me by purchasing, pre-ordering my book that's coming out. Go to tariobook.com. I will, there's some signed copies there. There's some merchandise, anything that you could do to help. I have to finish paying off this the editor of the book. I compiled 13 composition books, and she has the task of putting it together, and I need to get some book sales. And I'm not really making any money off of this. I just want to tell my story. So going on there would help out a lot. And one more thing, follow Reno at Reno PC 1FL. Reno PC 1FL. Maybe tonight after our Kim's stream, we'll throw down some games and go ahead and throw it up. And I'd like to thank you guys. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for joining. I don't know what happened with that link. I guess we'll take a look at that.
I don't know what the hell happened. We have to figure something out because that was crazy. Literally every device I joined from said you were offline.
Yeah, it's weird.
Anyway,
we had a
thanks
weird
again.
thing
I
where it kicked
appreciate.
us off. So, all right, and here we go. Thank you for watching the news brief, and we are